Love horror movies, haunted houses, creepy cult classics? Love a good drink while you scream? Then you need to check out Spooky Sips, the podcast where three spooky-loving ladies dive into horror movies old and new, all while sipping on some delicious spirits of their own. From slashers and slow burns to final girls and found footage, they bring the laughs, the screams, and the cocktails every 2 weeks. So grab your glass, hit play, and join the watch party because horror is better with friends, and maybe a little wine. New episodes every other Thursday. Listen to Spooky Sips wherever you get your podcasts. Canadian Creepies is recorded on the traditional lands of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe peoples, under the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. These lands and waters have been cared for since long before Canada existed, and they remain deeply important to Indigenous communities today. As we tell stories about darkness, injustice, and memory, I want to acknowledge the very real histories of colonization, violence, and erasure that Indigenous peoples continue to endure. A land acknowledgement can't undo that harm, but it is a reminder to keep listening, learning, and supporting in truth and reconciliation in meaningful ways. We share these stories not to forget, but to shine light, always with respect for peoples and nations whose land we live on. Canadian Creepies covers true crime, dark history, and disturbing events. Some episodes may include graphic descriptions or sensitive subject matter. We do our best to handle every story with care and respect for those affected. That said, we sometimes use humor and sarcasm as a way to process heavy content, never to disrespect victims, survivors, or their families. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Canadian Creepies. I am your host, Valerie.
And I'm your host, Amanda Joy.
And we are here for part 2 of Kai, the Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker. And as I said that, I realized that I did say the sources last week. Did I say the sources last week?
I don't think we did say the sources.
I don't think I said the sources.
This is our second time that we recorded the first episode.
That's okay.
I think you said it the first time, not the second time.
Yeah, okay. So why don't I start there? No. Yes. That would be considered housekeeping, I would think.
I like watching Val's mind work.
Thank you. It's not as fun for me.
It's a show for me. So.
Okay. The references the sources, references for this case are The Story of Kai, the Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker by the True Crime Collective, the documentary on Netflix, a website called the Siskiyou, an article called Netflix. Oh, let me see who it's by. It's okay. An article called Netflix Releases the Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker, who is Caleb Kai McGilvery. Global News, St. Albert News, Court Records, State of New Jersey, Jimmy Kimmel Live, a review of the Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker, CBS Sacramento, The True Story of Caleb McGilvery, CBS Philadelphia, The Guardian, How Social Media is Impacting Influencers' Mental Health, KMPH Exclusive, and Durham House, Dual Diagnosis Treatment Center.
I dig it.
Those are the sources.
It's been dug.
So that's been covered now. Now I have to go back to the episode we're in. Okay. I love this part. This is something I'm really excited to talk about. And we're not posting about it yet. I want this to be like a little exclusive thing for listeners first. If you are an artist and you listen to Canadian Creepies, I want to collaborate with you on merch, but in a way that actually supports you. You'd sell everything through your own shop, your Etsy, your Shopify, whatever you already use. We'd just be adding a new piece together, so you stay fully in control of your work. Every sale, you keep the majority of the profit, and I take a smaller commission through a coder link. And by I mean we, the podcast. You'll also get your own discount code to offer listeners, which helps drive traffic directly to your shop. And we'll be promoting you, not just the merch, across Canadian Creepy socials and here on the podcast. On top of that, part of what we make is going to be donated to Niagara Reproductive Justice and payyourrent.ca. So it's ethical, it's collaborative, and it actually pays artists. If you're hearing this, you're kind of getting first dibs. So reach out. We genuinely would love to work with you.
I like that.
Yes.
Go local artists.
Go local artists and Canada-wide. And
I consider them local. Yeah, you're Canadian. You're local.
You're just across the street practically.
Just a hop, skip, and a jump.
That's just a province over. That's nothing.
The other side of the pond.
That's just a few hours drive. Yeah, nobody's gonna check the pond though. And also, Amanda's going to get into it in one sec, but I don't think I made it in that write-up. I made it very clear. So before you get into it, I want to say we have free merch available in the form of seed packets. And it's merch in the form. It'll say Canadian Creepies on the seed packet, so you can keep the seed packet if you want. But Amanda's going to talk about that now. So, and they're free. So you just have to message your email.
We'll send them to you.
And we're going to mail them to you.
Free of charge.
No charge at all.
We are spreading the biodiversity love. So as long as you're in Canada, I think we can't
it has to be Canada. We can't send outside of Canada.
Yeah, that's a big biological no-no.
Yeah, we can't do that. I'm sorry.
So we want to thank the Ottawa Wildflower Seed Library for partnering with us and providing seeds for our community. The work that they are doing is genuinely amazing.
So
amazing, especially with what Doug Ford just did with the wildlife in Ontario.
I know. He's been creepy of the week too many times. I can't.
I'm just going to leave little nuggets.
A dead horse with a dead stick. Like, what am I going to do about it?
Going to leave little nuggets of how terrible he is, but So the work that they are doing, as I said, is incredible. The Ottawa Wildflower Seed Library is a grassroots organization focused on protecting biodiversity and giving away free native wildflower seeds and teaching people how to grow gardens that support bees, butterflies, birds, and other local wildlife.
Oh, the pretty things.
I love me a good monarch.
Right?
Or swallowtail.
Yes. I don't know. I have butterflies tattooed on me. I don't remember what they are. They're pretty.
I like them. I dig them. They've been dug. Their mission is rooted in accessibility, education, reciprocity, and environmental stewardship. I think I did that the last episode, too.
Yes.
Governmental, environmental.
Environmental stewardship.
Two very different things.
Yes.
Through free seed giveaways, workshops, and community education, they have helped thousands of people across Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia to create pollinator-friendly spaces and reconnect with native ecosystems. In just one recent year, they have donated over 100,000 seed packets from hundreds of native species to schools, individuals, and community products. So we are so grateful that they are able to share some of their seeds with us that we can share with you guys, the listeners, and community. Supporting native plants means supporting the entire web of life around us. So please go check out the amazing work that is being done by the Ottawa Wildflower Seed Library and hit us up if you want some seeds of your own.
And thank you, Christine, for facilitating that. And thank you, Christine, for researching this episode.
Rockstar.
The rockstar, Christine. Christine is actually, in a little teaser, in a few upcoming episodes, you are going to hear Christine's voice because she has taken her role here and ran with it, and we love it.
Yeah, she's done some deep dive research of her own.
Deep dive. It's good. Okay, should we start?
I'm ready to go. Let's rock.
Okay, should I start? I usually start.
Yeah, let's keep with tradition.
Let me have a sip of my soda water.
We just turned ASMR.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the murder of Joseph Galfy, which happened in May of 2013. The way Kai and Joseph Galfy met in May 2013 is basically the opening scene of a true crime horror movie. Here is how a 24-year-old viral nomad and a 73-year-old retired Army major/lawyer crossed paths in the middle of the world's biggest tourist trap. Kai was doing exactly what you'd expect a home-free internet celebrity to be doing, wandering around Times Square in New York City with no plan. Joseph Galfy was a well-to-do attorney from Clark, New Jersey. According to the investigation, the two met amid the flashing lights and Elmo cosplayers of Times Square. How exactly they sparked a conversation is a bit of a he said, she said situation, but the result, or he said, state said situation, but the result was the same. Galfy offered the world's most famous hitchhiker a place to stay for the night. Which, I don't know. Galfy drove Kai from the chaos of Manhattan back from his quiet suburban home in New Jersey. For Kai, this was just another Tuesday, living on the gift economy where strangers give you food and a bed because they saw you on Kimmel. For the system, this was a massive red flag. You have a vulnerable, nomadic young man with a history of trauma and a 73-year-old man who, according to prosecutors, was looking for a specific kind of company.
The million-dollar question that the jury and the media and everyone with a Netflix subscription has been chewing on for years, myself included, has been, why would this 73-year-old man interact with and then invite back to his home a 23-year-old homeless man, if not for a sexual interaction? Mm-hmm. When a 73-year-old established attorney picks up a 23-year-old viral drifter in
24-year-old.
Sorry, 23. My word. 24-year-old viral drifter in Times Square and drives him back to a suburban bedroom in New Jersey, the benefit of the doubt kind of starts looking pretty thin to me.
Yes. And that was a Christine thought, by the way.
Yes.
So they met in Times Square on Sunday, and Galfy was being either the world's most trusting senior citizen or a guy with a very specific type, brought Kai back to his house in Clark, New Jersey. According to Kai's later testimony and manic Facebook rants, the evening started out normal. Kai claimed Galfy offered him a beer, but claimed that it tasted funny. He alleged that the beer tasted weird or bitter, leading to his central defense: surreptitious drugging. He claimed he wasn't just drinking a domestic lager, he was being served a chemical cocktail designed to knock him out. Kai's version of the night is a fragmented blur of trauma. He claimed he woke up in a state of semi-consciousness to find Galfy sexually assaulting him. He alleged he was raped while incapacitated by whatever was in that chemical beer. In Kai's mind, this was the moment he had to exit the system of being a victim. However, instead of reacting right then and there, he claimed he was too drugged to fully resist or even process what was happening until later. The darkest, most sarcastic twist in this whole first night story is what happened the next morning. The cameras caught them at the train station the next day hugging. The prosecution used this to absolutely gut his first night trauma story. Their logic: who hugs their rapist at a train station and then goes back to his house for dinner? Galfy then drove Kai back to his house for a second night. I mean, you can't, and we know this now, you can't, there's no perfect victim.
No.
And especially somebody who is living a nomadic lifestyle and maybe didn't have his next stop planned or have any money and
food, anything.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You can't. They say it in Law and Order SVU all the time. There's no such thing as a perfect victim. Even if they get the story wrong and lie, that doesn't mean they weren't a victim of something.
As someone who was physically assaulted, it takes a while for the reality of what happened to kind of set in.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, all right.
Like, I was like, wow, that happened and that was bad. And then it wasn't until I went back to my home and just saw the bruises on my wrist and I was like, wait, whoa,
yeah,
what the fuck?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Here's the breakdown of the night the viral dream turned into a New Jersey nightmare. Despite his later claims of trauma, Kai voluntarily hopped back into Galfy's car and headed back to the house in Clark for round 2. The two had dinner and a few more beers. In his interrogation, Kai claimed he still felt groggy from the night before, but didn't confront Galfy. He just went along with the vibes, which is a bold strategy when you're staying with someone you think is a sexual predator. Yeah,
It's a choice.
It's a choice for sure.
It's a choice.
But again, there's no such thing as a perfect victim. And this guy as we have been discussing, he's not mentally well. Or he doesn't make choices that put him in safe places, perhaps, is a good way to put it. According to Kai's version of the night, he was again drugged and woke up on the bedroom floor to find Galfy wearing only his socks and underwear, trying to pull his pants down. Kai snapped. The physical evidence didn't just suggest a fight. It suggested a powder keg of explosive rage that turned a 73-year-old man into a forensic puzzle. Here's what the autopsy and crime scene showed about the end of Joseph Galfy. He was about 5'5", 230 pounds, and had a heart condition and a stent in his chest. Kai was a 24-year-old man in his physical prime. Galfy suffered 3 separate skull fractures. He had 4 broken ribs. The medical examiner testified to numerous serious blunt force injuries across his face, head, neck, chest, and arms. He was basically beaten into a pulp from the waist up. After leaving Galfy from the waist up.
Yeah, so like his chest, face area.
I know, but wouldn't that be odd?
He didn't go for the genitals?
Yeah. At all?
I don't know.
From the waist. You know? At all? That's where I'm going. But again, no such thing as a perfect victim.
Because I would want to go for center mass. Or I mean, that would be a way to get them down.
But in rage, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just odd. That's just odd to me. Waist up, that's odd.
Because I've always said, like, when you watch movies where like someone's being strangled or something, and I'm like, and they reach up for their hands, I'm like, why aren't they reaching for their genitals? Like, that would be the number one way to get them, or go for the eyes.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
Just gouge their eyes.
Exactly.
Like, but I guess when you're in that stressed state, you're gonna try and
properly,
clear what's stopping your airway.
Yeah, that too. After leaving Galfy face down and dying or dead in a pool of blood, Kai didn't call 911. He went to a local diner and used a knife to hack off his signature hero locks and tried to look like a normal citizen.
Spoiler. Hacking your hair off with a steak knife usually just makes you look like a different kind of crazy.
That's what
Thanks, Christine.
Yeah. He spent the next few days posting cryptic shit on Facebook, essentially telling his fans that he had been attacked and had to defend himself, while Galfy's body sat undiscovered in the house. Galfy was a creature of habit, a successful attorney and a regular at his local haunts. When he didn't show up for work on Monday, May 13th, 2013, people started raising eyebrows. Keeping in mind, this was the day Kai and Galfy were seen hugging at the train station. By Tuesday, May 14th, the silence became deafening. Galfy hadn't answered his phone, and he missed several more appointments. A concerned friend/colleague finally did the good neighbor thing and called the Clark Police Department to request a wellness check. When the officers arrived at Galfy's tidy home on Starlight Drive, they found the doors locked, but the house eerily still. They found Galfy in his bedroom, face down on the floor, wearing only his socks and underwear. It definitely wasn't a peaceful passing. The room was a disaster zone of blood and blunt force trauma. The wellness check immediately pivoted into a homicide investigation. I'd say so.
I guess so, right?
I'd say so. I'm not going to read along with you again because I think I react better when I don't.
It's like when I listen to the creep of the week or the current case. It's story time for Val.
Story time.
So this is the arrest and the investigation. So how could there be a paper trail for a man with no ID? There is a dark irony of Kai's anti-system lifestyle that hits peak level. The police didn't have to look hard for a lead. Sitting right there, practically gift-wrapped for the cops, right under Galfy's computer was a piece of paper with Kai and a cell phone number written on it.
Galfy had Kai's phone number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But nobody had Kai's phone number.
Right?
Just this guy.
Everyone else. Well, maybe because he had been like blowing up and so many people wanted interactions and stuff because he didn't have a cell phone prior to this.
Maybe he convinced him he needed a lawyer.
Oh, that too. I didn't think about that because we never get his actual side of the story.
We have no idea.
He's dead now.
Yeah.
But Investigators...
Maybe he's like, hey, I've seen you, and...
just a heads up.
I think you need a lawyer. Like, you should just have a lawyer on retainer. Or not even on retainer, but I just, like, think...
in your back pocket, or, like...
if I see you get into trouble, how's about this? I'll find you. Give me your phone number.
Yeah.
You know.
So investigators quickly linked that name to the viral video that had been everywhere for 3 months. While police were staring at Galfy's shattered head, Kai was already in Philadelphia, busy being a nomad. He had posted on Facebook Tuesday morning, "What would you do if you woke up with a groggy head in a stranger's house and realized you've been drugged and raped?"
Ugh.
I feel like he might be breadcrumbing because he knows it's coming up. Like, he knows he's going to get caught.
Right.
So, like,
Right.
I feel like he's trying to plant the seeds of this is what happened.
Totally. But also then he says some more stuff where I'm like, I don't know. Like, when you keep going, like, when he says more, like...
I really don't know what to think about this
it's
one.
hard.
Like, there's so many...
I got no answer.
Yeah, same. And I usually feel like I have all the answers.
I know. I'm like, at the end of this case, guess what? I'm on no one's side.
Yeah.
I think everyone's wrong in this situation.
The prosecution ended up...
Something wrong happened somewhere.
Something bad happened on both sides.
Yeah.
Yes.
But also, again, maybe Galfy was just trying to set him up with a lawyer when he saw him.
Personally, I think if you are living some kind of nomadic lifestyle and you have no money, you are most likely going to be choosing some way of payment for some of the services that you are receiving from other people.
I guess.
I think that's a lot of expectations with a lot of people who pick up hitchhikers. I don't know. I've never hitchhiked. So
yeah, I don't know.
That's not my experience.
I think that's more, and unfortunately I do think that's probably more for women.
That's fair too.
That's probably more of like an expectation of women hitchhikers. Not saying that it's just like statistically.
Yeah.
But if Galfy was already known to have been looking for... Okay, let's continue. Beating a dead horse with a dead stick here. No pun intended. Don't clip that. I didn't mean that disrespectfully.
Some artist, please make a don't clip that thing for us. Something. A mug. A hat. Something. So the prosecutions ended up looking at this as a preemptive strike to set up self-defense narrative before the body was even cold. That's what I said.
Yeah.
The system didn't need a GPS tracker or facial recognition satellite to find the killer. They just needed a concerned friend and a scrap piece of paper. For a guy who wanted to be a ghost, Kai sure left a lot of fingerprints on the curtains. After the murder on Tuesday morning, Kai didn't just leave. He tried to rebrand. He cut his hair to hide his viral hero identity. He then hopped onto a bus to Philadelphia, and the next couple of days he was hanging out with fans and sightseeing while Galfy's body was cooling in Jersey. He was eventually caught because a barista in a Starbucks in Philadelphia recognized him. Even with the short hair and a murder charge, you can't escape a meme.
He has a pretty distinct face. Like I can picture his face right now. Sans the...
And it's not like he has the money to go and buy a completely brand new wardrobe or anything, right?
No, he's still in that t-shirt.
He's in the same t-shirt he was a year ago. And like,
same backpack, dude.
The same backpack. Yeah, like he's not even what he's wearing or how he looks, but how he behaves is probably pretty recognizable at this point as well. So she recognizes him, and he gets arrested on May 16th of 2013 at a Greyhound bus station in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia police swarmed the station. Kai didn't go out in a blaze of glory or a smashing frenzy. He was taken into custody without incident. The system didn't even have to break a sweat. They just had to wait for him to buy a bus ticket. So for his whole philosophy, I think he kind of knew his goose was cooked, though.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
He was then processed. The man who had spent his life dodging the machine by refusing to carry a driver's license was finally given a very permanent piece of identification.
Oh, yeah, because he's getting fingerprinted.
Yeah,
everything.
Mugshots, all of that.
Mugshots, fingerprints.
Caleb Lawrence McGilvery.
Would he have had to give up his real name, or how would they have found who he was?
Because he doesn't have an ID.
He's not an international criminal. He wouldn't have fingerprints.
I wonder if maybe
Canadian.
I wonder if maybe his parents had reached out, because his parents have done interviews and stuff. So maybe if there's a murder charge and they're looking for his son, they could have called and been like, yeah, here's like, let us help, like, do what we can.
This is our son.
Yeah. And they would have his like birth records and everything and would be able to send that over to police and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
I just lost my place, which is always fun. I really lost my place here.
I can't help you. I wasn't with you.
Yeah. Okay, so here it is. The arrest was the moment that the home-free fantasy died. He went from surfing trips from Jimmy Kimmel to a cold cell in Philadelphia in less than 90 days. Ugh. Is that a record?
That's a big turnaround.
That's a huge, that's a big 180.
That's a quick...
The system he hated so much didn't just find him. It did so because he couldn't stop being celebrity long enough to actually disappear. It's hard in the YouTube era, I guess, though. Mm-hmm. The interrogation that followed Kai's arrest was a dark reboot of Kai's manic energy that nobody had asked for. It was several hours of a nakedly terrified nomad trying to out-manipulate seasoned detectives with a mix of warrior philosophy and absolute bullshit. The detectives, who had the distinct pleasure of sitting in a small windowless room with the Warrior of Light, were Detective Robert Bobby G. Henderson.
The Warrior of Light?
The Warrior of Light.
Okay.
Self-proclaimed.
Okay.
And Detective Michael, or Mike J. Walsh, from the Union County Prosecutor's Office. They did not get a confession. They got more of a lecture. Kai spent a significant portion of the interrogation trying to frame the brutal beating of a 73-year-old man as a spiritual necessity.
Yes.
Very Kai.
Naturally.
That's very Kai-coded. In Kai's head, he wasn't a murderer. He was a vessel of justice, protecting his sacred space, which was his body.
Yes.
I like that.
Vessel of justice, protecting my sacred space.
It is. My body is my sacred space.
That's true.
That's touchy.
Yeah.
It's hard to sell the peaceful warrior vibe when you are when the guy you murdered has a skull that was destroyed. And also you smashed somebody else's head in with a hatchet not too long ago. You're creating a pattern.
Yeah.
The detectives played along, nodding while Kai rambled on about energy and vibrations, waiting for him to trip over his own timeline. Kai leaned heavily into the I was drugged narrative during questioning. He claimed his memory of the actual violence was fuzzy, a convenient blackout that had happened right when he started beating someone to death. I guess in a rage, though, people, like it has been reported that people do black out. So he did report, like, he brought up the bitter tasting beer that Galfy had given him. The interrogation was a beautiful display of two different worlds colliding. The detectives were using logic and timelines, surveillance footage of the train station hug, and Kai was using cosmic energy, accusations of drugging, and the defense that he was too hot to consensually sleep with the victim.
Kai was too hot.
Too hot.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Kai.
Yes, and Christine wants to know that you can see the actual look of I don't get paid enough for this shit on the police officers' faces in the interrogation footage in the Netflix documentary.
It's like when Justin Timberlake was arrested.
He's like, this is gonna ruin the world tour.
Yeah, but then he's like in the police station and they got him cuffed. He's like, guys, is this really necessary? And they're like, yes. And he's like, okay. So defeated. Come on, guys. Is this? Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Sir, this is what arrestment is.
Yeah. You're being detained.
It's you don't get special treatment because you're Justin Timberlake. If anything, they should probably add more handcuffs.
Yeah. You've gotten away with too much, sir. Oh. You charge people for those dance moves for too many years, friend.
Listen, it is May now.
Yeah. So. We're in May.
So Kai's defense was basically, I'm a celebrity. Why would I fuck an old lawyer for a bed when I could have anyone?
You couldn't have anyone, Kai.
Kai, I don't think you've showered in a really, really long time.
It's been a long time, Kai.
And I feel like that alone would put me off.
Yeah. Just like not knowing what to expect, I would just fear for my safety around him.
Yeah.
In any capacity.
It would be cool to be like, oh, hi. Like before
walk
this
past
happened.
him.
Yeah.
Walk
But not
past
to
him.
spend an afternoon with him. I ain't about that lifestyle.
No.
I can be crazy.
Yeah, not that
But
crazy.
not the cosmos is not telling me anything. So he argued that his fame had made him less likely to enter a sexual transaction because he was, quote, above it.
Gotcha.
Yes.
He spent a lot of time thinking about this.
I mean, I think he was panic thinking, and he's like, this is a great alibi. This is a great excuse.
Yeah.
So he doubled down on this in the interrogation room. He told detectives with a straight face that there was no way the sexual encounter was consensual because Galfy didn't meet his aesthetic standards. He basically told the cops that as a viral sensation, he had access to better.
Gotcha.
Barf. It's the ultimate fame defense. I'm too famous to fuck a suburban lawyer, therefore it must have been rape. While the detectives kept circling back to the Monday train station hug, their line of questioning was essentially, why were you so drugged and traumatized on Sunday night? If you were so traumatized and drugged on Sunday night, why would you go back Monday for a snuggle and a sleepover? I kind of don't like that line of questioning.
I hate that line of questioning. Again, no perfect victim.
It's never a clear answer.
He very well still could have been raped.
Yeah.
But again,
there's a reason some people don't fight back. There's a reason some people do.
Fight, flight, fawn, and freeze.
Yep.
You know, and again, on this podcast, we're on everyone's side.
Yes.
Unless you're
unless you're a rapist.
Unless you're a rapist.
And you touch
white
kids.
Supremacist.
You know.
Yeah. Or like a weird politician.
Yeah, if you're collecting Hitler memorabilia.
We don't like that.
Kai's response to that questioning was, the universe led me there.
Wow.
Okay.
He didn't work so hard on that one,
No,
did he?
the universe...
He was like, fuck, that one slipped out.
I didn't think of that one. The detectives had Kai stripped down partially to check for injuries. He was pristine, not a bruise, not a scratch, not a broken fingernail. But if you were drugged and raped, I don't know, because a lot of women do have bruising and vaginal bleeding and...
Mm-hmm. Did they check Kai's genitals?
It says partially stripped down.
Did they do a rape kit on Kai? This is what I mean. Did
they check for tearing and stuff?
I feel like there's some truth to what Kai is saying.
I think there is some. I definitely agree with that. I think there is some truth to what Kai is saying.
Whether Buddy fully drugged him and raped or attempted
some sort
to rape
of consensual agreement was made,
or just even a pass was made at him.
Yeah,
and Kai was like, no, and then maybe a pass happened again, and he lost his temper.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We only have Kai's version of the story, which kind of sucks a little bit, but
I imagine, being a nomad, you say it's freeing, but it's probably very stressful wondering where your next meal is going to come from, and tiring. So you got to be living on cortisol.
And I feel like if you are trying to charm people into giving you things,
drank a lot of alcohol
and a lot of
drugs.
weed, a lot of weed.
Don't bring weed into it.
Weed and alcohol, though, together.
Don't bring weed into it.
And fella's a big...
Shut up. Leave weed out of it.
Listen, it's legal where we are. It was not legal in the United States in 2013, so you're getting it.
I think
probably...
it was legal in California.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm. True.
Because it was legal in 2016.
He was in New York, though,
here.
with Galfy, though.
I think it was legal there, too.
If somebody knows that...
Let us know.
We don't know those laws.
The states, who really cares?
I'm just saying that if it's not legal, you're more likely to get something that's laced with other stuff as well.
Yes.
So Kai's defense for not being injured at all was, he explained this away by saying that he was good at fighting, and he claimed that his reflexes were so superior that he could have pulverized a man's skull without sustaining a single defensive mark.
Okay, but Buddy was 73 and you're 24.
Yeah. So and that doesn't explain...
There's a very physical difference. There's a big difference between 24 and 34.
Yeah.
My back hurts.
I have arthritis.
Didn't hurt before.
And a shattered arm.
Yeah. Swear back out one time. Hurts
And that's it. Yeah.
That's
the
it.
rest
You're
of your
screwed
life.
every time you get your period after that.
Yeah.
Heard it here first.
Yeah.
Girly pops and women identifying folk.
So towards the end of the interrogation, Kai became very
And
emotional.
those who have uteruses who identify otherwise. Sorry, continue.
Fair point. Fair point.
Yep.
We try not to leave anybody out.
We're not.
Yeah. Whether you're doing good or doing bad, we point the finger at everybody.
That's right. Uterus or not.
Yeah. So towards the end of the interrogation, Kai is super emotional. He's crying about how he hates violence and wants to spread love. And he's saying this while sitting in a room because he's beaten a man to death. And again, he was filmed smashing somebody's head in with a hatchet.
Yeah. So and you hate violence?
But you seem to do it quite often.
Yeah.
You carry a hatchet around with you hitchhiking.
You literally have a hatchet with you. You hate violence? I don't know.
So the detectives just let him talk until he just effectively buried himself. They didn't need to waterboard him or anything. They just needed to give him a captive audience and a glass of water. By the end of the tape, Kai admitted to the physical act of killing, leaving only the why up for debate. Henderson and Walsh deserve a medal, not just for solving the case, which Kai basically solved for them, but because he left a note and digital trail, but by not losing their goddamn minds, because the universe is why you beat a 73-year-old lawyer to death. The public's reaction to Kai's arrest was a glorious multicolor pileup of cognitive dissonance, I told you so's, and straight up delusional loyalty. That reminds me of somebody else who is sitting in a White House right now, but,
Right?
The internet had spent 3 months casting this guy as a gritty Disney prince. And when the news broke that he had bludgeoned a 73-year-old lawyer to death, the collective brain short-circuited was almost audible.
Yeah, we were like, what?
What? Wait, this guy?
No!
But really,
He was our hero!
one day you're humming the Autotune Smash Smash remix while making coffee, and the next you're reading about a blood-splattered bedroom in a suburban New Jersey home. A lot of people went silent and deleted their Kaya's My Spirit Animal tweets.
And you know what? We can't say spirit animal anyway.
Yes, so
We just can't say that.
it was the ultimate main character.
That's appropriating indigenous culture,
Yes.
in case I didn't make that clear. You hear that, white friends? Don't say that anymore. It's not cute.
It's
Thank you.
not. It's kind of really cringe.
It's really cringy.
Yeah.
And it's such a 90s thing to say.
Also that, yeah.
And like
Even though
90s,
I say
early 2000s.
dig it all the time on
That's
this
different.
podcast. I'm not appropriating
I
anybody's
say
culture.
word up sometimes, so,
This is true.
you know.
I say cool beans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those
Epic.
things, those timeless.
Yeah, right?
Timeless.
Yeah. Yes.
Some words are not timeless, as we know.
So because the internet is a dark and confusing place, Kai didn't lose all of his fans. Instead, he kind of gained a cult following of conspiracy theorists, of course.
Naturally.
To his hardcore supporters, the arrest wasn't a consequence of murder. It was the system finally silencing the warrior for light who knew too much.
Because we can't just say, hey, maybe we were wrong about this guy.
Right?
We can't
It's
just say
okay
that.
to
Yeah.
say, I'm going to hold your hand while I say this. It is okay to admit that you were wrong.
And you're allowed to change your mind as well. At any point in your life, you can change your mind.
Growth
you can
is a
change
real
your
thing.
mind, and you can change your mind. You can change your hair, and you can change your mind.
Can't say that I'm dancing along to
Yeah.
that. I'll sing it. They argued that Joseph Galfy was a high-powered predator and that Kai was being framed or railroaded by a corrupt local legal system protecting one of its own. People actually started...
Well, part of that could be true. Just
I
saying.
mean, I'm really
Elements
torn.
of all of this
I'm really
could
torn.
weave together to create what happened
It's a really
here.
fucked up quilt that's going on
Yeah,
right
we're
now.
creating the most fucked up quilt, but patch by patch.
We don't have one
It's
whole
co-
side of the story.
We don't.
So
we have one side of the quilt.
and it's not stitched together very nicely. People actually started a GoFundMe page, and there were Facebook groups called Free Kai the Hitchhiker. They weren't just a fan of memes anymore. They were soldiers in his imaginary war against the machine. A significant portion of the public turned their rage towards the TV networks. People began to realize that the media had exploited a clearly mentally ill, traumatized young man for ratings. Now you care. Outlets like KMPH and Jimmy Kimmel were criticized for feeding the monster and giving a platform to this guy who was clearly unwell without providing any actual help. Then there were the cynical bastards who had seen the Fresno interview and thought, yeah, this guy is going to kill somebody eventually. Mm-hmm. And they pointed to his erratic behavior, his admitted history of violence, even if it
wasn't kill somebody eventually. He did kill someone the first time. Very publicly.
Yeah. What did the guy die?
Did the guy die? Maybe he didn't die. But he assaulted someone violently publicly.
Hit him multiple.
To say the least.
I know.
But it's in an effort to protect someone. I do understand that.
Yeah. I know.
But I don't know. Do we all grab a hatchet in that scenario?
He already had it on him.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Do we all, in that scenario, are we all going for a hatchet? I don't know.
I mean, I know the laws, at least in Ontario, are for self-defense. You can use a weapon of equal or lesser power and do what you can to make sure that you feel confident that they are down and they are staying down and not getting back up, as long as you're not, I mean, even I guess murder is kind of within that reason if it's really that high-strung situation. I don't know what that's like in...
Case by case.
Yeah, in Fresno. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
there's no simple answer to a complicated question.
And you already had the hatchet.
You already had the hatchet. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So this guy they saw a guy who had lacked boundaries, and for them, the New Jersey murder wasn't a surprise. It was the inevitable finale of the show.
Right.
It was also a very weird, very modern type of guilt. The playlist purge, the Gregory Brothers Smash, Smash, Smash song suddenly felt a lot less funny when you realize this guy is singing about smashing heads.
Yeah.
Like he actually smashed someone's head.
Yeah.
And the public response was a perfect snapshot of 2023. Total obsession, followed by total denial, followed by a true crime documentary. The system didn't just arrest a murderer, they arrested a meme. While half the world was horrified, the other half was busy typing, "He was just defending himself," into Facebook comment sections, while ignoring the 3 skull fractures and the evidence and the lack of defensive wounds.
My turn?
It's your turn, girly pop. Use up.
I'm up. Okay. Well, let's talk about Kai's account versus... I just wanted to get a sense of how long it was. Sorry. Let's talk about Kai's account versus the prosecution narrative. The murder trial for Caleb Kai McGilvery, known as Kai the Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker, began on April 1st... April Fool's Day, 2019 in Union County, New Jersey.
That's so ironic.
Right? Following his arrest in May 2013, McGilvery was initially represented by public defender Lorraine Stanley, who entered a not guilty plea on his behalf.
That's several years after. So I wonder... He didn't have an address, so if he was released on bail, where the hell is he going?
I don't think he was released.
I don't think he was released on bail.
How could they have? They couldn't release him on bail because he's a flight risk.
That too. Yeah.
John Cito served as the defense attorney during the 2019 trial, where the defense argued that McGilvery acted in self-defense against Joseph Galfy. The trial was prosecuted by Union County Assistant Prosecutors Scott Peterson and Jillian Reyes. The defense's strategy. Kai's legal team had a hell of an uphill battle. They had to explain why a peace-loving viral hero, and then Christine said, beat the ever-loving shit out of a 73-year-old lawyer. Their strategy was a wild cocktail of stand your ground, sexual trauma, and the system is out to get us. The cornerstone of the defense was that Kai was a victim of a predatory assault. They argued that Galfy drugged Kai with a bitter beer on Sunday and raped him while he was unconscious. They claimed that on Monday night, the second night, Kai woke up to Galfy attempting to assault him again. In this version, Kai's warrior instincts kicked in. He wasn't murdering a lawyer, he was fighting off a rapist.
Warrior.
The problem is, as we've discussed, the Monday train the Monday train station hug and the fact that Kai went back for a second sleepover made this "I feared for my life" defense look bad to the jury.
Now, it also depends how much he was drugged the first night compared to the second night as well. Like, he could have been like, man, that was a really weird dream that I had.
And be doubting himself.
Yeah.
And why would I think this of this nice man, this sweet old man who just let me, who's going to now be my lawyer if I need him.
We're
going with my theory.
Oh, I love it.
The defense struggled to prove the drugging. Yeah. The medical examiner didn't, and it's also very possible that Kai entered a state of psychosis.
That's true too.
Like alcohol-induced psychosis.
He has clearly, and exactly, like you're drinking, you don't know what else this guy has in his system, and now you're giving him some sort of weird drug even. Like, you're adding so much to the mix without knowing what's already in the mix.
Yeah.
And
so you think he was drugged?
I don't know. If he was, like, that is what could have happened if he was drugged. But also, he's clearly displayed some very erratic behaviors to begin with. So a psychosis without an additional drug from the beer is totally possible as well.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place with this one. I don't know what to think.
I know. Our thoughts are we have no thoughts.
I have all the thoughts. They just don't line up.
The medical examiner didn't find clear evidence of date rape drugs, though Kai's legal team spent years screaming about spoliation of evidence. Spoliation of evidence? Spoliation of it. Basically claiming the state intentionally botched the testing to protect the pillar of the community lawyer. Since they couldn't prove Kai was drugged, the defense went after the police work. They hammered the point that Galfy's brother, a former police chief, was allowed into the house and allegedly ran the dishwasher, potentially destroying the drugged beer bottles. Well, then that could be he's saved his brother-in-law before.
That would suggest that.
That would suggest this is just a cleanup. That.
Because here's the thing. If you weren't premeditatively thinking, oh, I'm going to pick up a random this Kai guy, and you just happen to have drugs on hand.
Yeah. Like you would just have them.
Yeah. If you are 73 years old and this is not your first time that you've decided to rape an unconscious male.
Or person.
Person in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They argued the system was biased because the police didn't give Kai a rape kit or a medical exam immediately after his arrest, essentially erasing the evidence of his victimization to protect a fellow member of the legal elite.
How many days was it? 3 days, right? After?
Yeah.
Yeah, there'd still be DNA evidence and everything. It wouldn't be healed.
The defense tried to bring in experts to talk about Kai's childhood trauma and his home-free lifestyle. They wanted to show that Kai's brain was wired differently due to past abuse, making him hypervigilant. To him, a hand on the leg wasn't just a hand. It was a life-threatening trigger. Judge Robert Kirsch wasn't having it. He blocked a lot of the psychiatric testimony, basically saying, I don't care about his vibrations. I care about the 3 skull fractures.
Did they give him a psych evaluation at all?
They just said they just pushed it to the side. So anything the defense did, the judge threw it out. Kai himself was his own worst witness. His personal strategy was to insult Galfy's appearance to prove he'd never sleep with him consensually. Stupid defense. Stupid Kai.
Yeah, if you don't show empathy or sympathy or regret, remorse, anything, it looks real bad on you.
But then that does sort of back up the idea that he does feel like he was assaulted. And he's like, but they're not going to understand my reasoning for it, so I have to come up with this. This whole episode is a mind fuck. I can guarantee you that's how a lot of assault victims feel. Straight up. During his later interviews and trial, Kai was asked why he would have a sexual encounter with Galfy. His response was peak Kai. Even if I was gay, do you know how many hot guys wanted to fuck me after that shit in California? I'm not even being vain. No offense, but he, Galfy, was not a looker. As we talked about before, he used his fame as a defense, arguing that he was too hot and viral to ever consensually sleep with an older man like Galfy. It was the most narcissistic self-defense argument in legal history. In his closing arguments, the defense basically argued that the state of New Jersey was protecting one of its own. They framed Joseph Galfy as a powerful predator who used his status to lure a vulnerable nameless wanderer into a trap. Kai was the outsider being crushed by the insiders. The defense strategy was also to ignore the autopsy, ignore the train station hug, and focus on the fact that the dishwasher was running. It was a conspiracy theory defense for a man who lived a conspiracy theorist's life. But in a court of law, I'm a warrior for the light doesn't hold much weight against you beat a man to death in his socks.
You would think his defense team would have been like, listen.
Stop talking. They probably were. They definitely
too.
were.
But you would think,
he just didn't listen.
Not even his own defense and his own statements. Why are you running this narrative to begin with? Why aren't you sitting there going, listen, our job is to get you the fuck out of jail, and we're not doing this.
I think they probably did say that. I think they probably did say that, and they probably said, you're not going on the stand, and he probably said, put me on the stand, put me on the stand. They went, we'll call Kai to the stand. And the judge was like, you're sure about that? You're sure about that? And they, the prosecution strategy was basically a forensic vibe check designed to strip away the lovable nomad mask and reveal a calculated explosive killer. The state didn't care about cosmic energy or auto-tuned remixes. They focused on cold hard math, force versus threat. The prosecution's strongest weapon wasn't a hatchet. It was the autopsy report. They hammered the jury with the sheer brutality of the beating. You don't get these skull fractures and 4 broken ribs from defending yourself against a 73-year-old man with a heart condition.
That's also fair.
Yeah. The prosecution argued that if Kai was truly a warrior, he could have neutralized a 230-pound senior citizen with a single push. Instead, he performed a manual demolition. They framed it not as self-defense, but as a sustained, rage-filled execution, not education. Execution. This is the part that really fucked up Kai's self. This is the part. This fault. Nothing that Kai did. Yeah, this is going to be the part that really fucks up Kai's self-defense argument in court. Surveillance footage showed that on Monday, Kai was at the railway train station. Instead of fleeing to Philadelphia or back to Canada, Kai met up with Galfy again. Prosecutors showed the jury the video of Kai and Galfy hugging and embracing on Monday afternoon. After the night, Kai claimed he was drugged and raped. It effectively painted Kai as a hustler who turned violent when the transaction went south. The prosecution made sure the jury knew that while Galfy was a pile of broken bones, Kai was pristine. They pointed out that Kai had 0 defensive wounds. No scratches on his face, no bruises on his torso, nothing. But he also wasn't medically examined, nor was there a rape kit.
They partially unclothed him, so they probably just made him take off his shirt and they were like, oh.
Yeah, and like socks.
I don't even think they would take off his socks. Yeah. There'd be no need to, because you were like, well, I mean, they clearly didn't take off his pants or do a rape kit, which you would have needed to. I don't even know. They just, yeah. I'm going to stop.
This wasn't a struggle for his life. It was a one-sided beatdown. The system used Kai's own physical health against him to prove that Galfy never stood a chance. The state argued that Kai's behavior after the murder proved that he wasn't a traumatized victim, but a calculating fugitive.
Yeah, that didn't do him any favors.
No. They framed his DIY knife haircut not as a breakdown, but as a deliberate attempt to evade capture and hide his viral identity. They used his Facebook posts asking, what would you do if you were raped? Like, that's just, yeah, that is, there's no such thing as a perfect victim. I shouldn't. As evidence of premeditation of a defense. They argued, but it's just like the way I picture him saying, like, what would you do if you were raped? You know, that's how I picture it. Like, just, listen.
I got a question for you.
Hey, girly pops, what would you do if you were raped? Like, that's how I just hear it in my head.
OMG.
Yeah, that's how I hear it in my head. But I know that's not what it was. They argued he was setting the stage for a self-defense claim before the body was even found. The prosecution fought tooth and nail to prevent Kai from being seen as a hero. They painted him as a powder keg, a dangerous, unstable drifter who used his home-free philosophy as a cover for a total lack of impulse control. They didn't want the jury to see Kai, the legend. They wanted them to see Caleb, the killer. The prosecution strategy was ignore the bandana, ignore the guitar, and look at the shattered skull.
I mean,
that's a pretty good strategy. You. Yeah, you. Still haunting the same old fast fashion? Time to dig up something better with Back from the Dead Goods, a Canadian small business where forgotten threads get a second life and sustainability meets spooky. This isn't just upcycled clothing. It's resurrected fashion with an eerie edge. Handpicked, reworked, and revived Every piece is as unique as a ghost story whispered at midnight. And because you're a part of the Canadian Creepies family, you get an exclusive deal. Use code Canadian Creepies at checkout for 10% off. Find them lurking on Instagram, Etsy, and Poshmark. Links are in the episode description. Give your wardrobe a second chance at life, if you dare. Hey creeps, it's Valerie here, and if you're anything like us, you love capturing a moment, whether it's spooky, sweet, or somewhere delightfully in between. Let me introduce you to our go-to for stunning shots, darkroom photography, based right here in the heart of the Niagara region. Mel, the brilliant eye behind the lens, is a lifestyle and creative photographer who brings a little bit of magic and maybe a touch of mystery to every session. She's got all her prices listed right on her website, super transparent, no tricks. And she runs killer seasonal specials around Mother's Day, Halloween, Christmas, and more. I'm telling you, her Halloween sessions, creepy perfection. So, if you're in the Niagara area and looking to capture memories that are hauntingly beautiful, hit up Mel at darkroomphotography.ca or check out her work at www.darkroomphotography.ca. That's Darkroom Photography, where your memories come to life, even in the dark. Looking for your next obsession? The Creators Collective Podcasts is your gateway to the dark, the chilling, and the downright fascinating. We're a community of independent podcasts with one goal: to share the best in true crime, paranormal tales, folklore, and unexplained mysteries. Whether you crave cold cases that won't stay closed, haunted histories that refuse to be forgotten, or stories that make you sleep with the lights on, there's a show waiting for you in the collective. And when you join us, you're not just listening to one podcast. You're stepping into a world of creators who love this stuff as much as you do. Check out the Creators Collective today. Follow the link in our show notes to discover your next favorite podcast. We'll be waiting for you. Support reproductive justice in Niagara. Niagara Reproductive Justice is a grassroots collective based in the Niagara region of Ontario, working to increase visibility and access to sexual and reproductive health care. They support people seeking abortion and other essential care by offering transportation, financial assistance, logistical help, and emotional support. Here's how you can help. You can make a one-time donation. Send an e-transfer to niagarareproductivejustice@gmail.com. Your support helps cover costs like gas for volunteer drivers, overnight stays, childcare, and other urgent needs. You can also support monthly via Patreon. Join their Patreon and support the cause month to month. It's patreon.com/Niagara Reproductive Justice. And you can volunteer your time. NRJ is always looking for volunteers to help with driving, outreach, admin support, and community organizing. If you're looking to make a real impact in the Niagara region, this is a great place to start. Contact them via email or DM them on Instagram or Facebook to learn more. You can find them on Instagram at Niagara Reproductive Justice and on Facebook at Niagara Reproductive Justice. Help amplify access to reproductive care right here in our own backyard. Whether you donate, volunteer, or spread the word, you're a part of the movement. They turned the system into a steamroller that flattened Kai's warrior narrative under a mountain of surveillance tapes and medical examiner photos. Investigators did find Galfy's DNA on his own body, which the prosecution used to argue that a sexual encounter happened, but that it was consensual. But again, you didn't do a fucking rape kit, so their theory was that Kai was a hustler who traded sex for a place to stay and then flipped the script when things got out of hand. Or Buddy refused to fucking pay him. I'm everywhere with this. I'm on everybody's side.
Yeah, like there's moments where I'm like, maybe it was consensual and he got caught robbing the guy, but they never mention anything being physically taken from the house.
Yeah.
Like, so if the guy was already dead, why would you leave what you were trying to steal behind in the first place? Like, you would think his first idea would, his wallet. Even if he... Like, even if it was transactional, yeah, like, look for cash. Just steal the guy's Rolex. Like, he's a fucking lawyer. I'm sure he's got a nice collection of watches or, like, cash on hand, like something valuable in the house for him to take. And he didn't take anything, which I find weird.
Yeah. They framed it as a transactional relationship where Kai was getting a bed and Galfy was getting whatever he was looking for. In the eyes of the law, the second the night turned the situation from, which isn't sex work illegal in the States, so shouldn't that not be the defense? In the eyes of the law, or the prosecution, in the eyes of the law, the second night turned from the situation from desperate self-defense into premeditated murder, or at the very least, an extremely violent overreaction during a consensual hookup. Oh, so they weren't framing it as sex work at all. The jury took a little bit they were. The jury took a grand total of 5 hours to decide that Kai wasn't a warrior for the light, but a guy who had just committed a first-degree murder. After a 4-week trial filled with talk of sacred vibrations, chemical beer, and aesthetic standards of nomadic celebrities, the 12 jurors in Union County, New Jersey, it needed less than a drive from Ottawa to Niagara Falls. Nice one, Christine. To reach their verdict. On April 24th, 2019. This means the jury didn't spend a lot of time debating the nuances of Kai's nomadic philosophy. They looked at the 3 skull fractures, they looked at the train station hug, they looked at the lack of defensive wounds on Kai, and they collectively went, yeah, that's a no from us. They found him guilty of first-degree murder, not manslaughter, which would imply he just got carried away, and not justifiable homicide, which would mean they bought the self-defense story. He was officially labeled a violent predator. Any hope Kai had that his viral fame would charm the suburban jurors of New Jersey evaporated the moment the foreman read the word guilty. True to form, Kai didn't go quietly into that good night. When the verdict was read, he didn't just sit there. He reportedly had a bit of a meltdown in the courtroom. He had spent the entire trial acting as his own co-counsel, constantly interrupting the judge and arguing about due process and conspiracies. When that guilty verdict hit, his entire Child of the Universe operating system completely crashed. A month later, Judge Robert Kirsch put the final nail in the coffin by sentencing him to 57 years. Kai has to serve 85% of that sentence, about 48 years before he's even eligible for parole. Since he was 30 at the time of the sentencing, he'll be pushing 80 before he sees a Greyhound station again.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Your turn.
So, Kai's legal proceedings, this is prior to the actual court,
right.
The pre-trial years. His legal proceedings moved with the same urgency, similar to a dial-up phone connection. The guy spent 6 years essentially buffering a New York, Jersey jail cell before the trial finally began. That's what I was asking about. Yeah. Was he paroled? No, he wasn't. He was arrested in May of 2013, but the jury didn't actually sit down until April of 2019. That's 6 years of Kai sitting in a Union County jail, presumably driving his cellmates and guards to the brink of madness. And this is why the legal proceedings took so long. Kai is the ultimate, I know more than my lawyer guy. Also answered my question.
Oh, you don't.
Dude, you don't even have a home. You don't even have an ID.
You don't even have an ID. You can't even decide what name you want to go by.
Light warrior. Oh, you don't even know where you can't even say where you actually came from.
Yeah.
You have, yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
Please continue.
He spent a massive amount of time firing his public defenders and demanding to represent himself, and then would change his mind again, rehire a different lawyer.
Naturally.
Every time he fired a lawyer, the system had to hit the reset button. The new lawyer had to be appointed, and they needed to spend months or years to read through thousands of pages of evidence that Kai had already tried to set on fire.
And so, are they still in trial now?
In this part of our story, yeah. So this is before the trial happened. This is what went on.
Right. Sorry.
Kai,
I forgot.
No worries.
I went temporarily.
So Kai flooded the court with his own handwritten legal motions. We're talking about mountains of paperwork accusing the judge of ridiculous things and claiming the entire state of New Jersey was a corporate fiction.
Okay.
Kai.
Buddy.
The system had to respond to every single one of this warrior's manifestos.
Oh, my goodness.
As we've discussed, the defense was obsessed with the missing evidence, like the dishwasher incident or the lack of the rape kit. There were years of legal hearings to decide just what evidence was fair to show the jury. The defense filed motion after motion trying to get the case dismissed because the system had supposedly accidentally destroyed the alleged drugged beer bottles. How do we know if they were even in the dishwasher? That just seems to be...
Why is he washing beer bottles in the dishwasher?
I don't...
Why don't you just put them in the recycling bin?
How do we know that they were actually in the dishwasher, though? This is just what Kai is saying.
Again, this is just Kai.
Right? You weren't there when they found his body.
You don't know. What do you mean he ran the dishwasher, Kai?
So basically, every time Kai came up with a new conspiracy theory, the trial got pushed back a date. So he's the reason why he sat in jail for 6 years before trial even happened.
Oh my God.
Because Kai was acting like a lunatic, the court had to repeatedly pause everything for a competency hearing. They had to make sure that he was fit to stand trial. Okay, so maybe they did do an evaluation. Every time he had a "I'm a warrior of light" meltdown in court, the judge had to stop and ask the doctors, is he like crazy, or like just "I really hate New Jersey" crazy? Eventually they decided that he was competent to stand trial, which means that he was sane enough to understand that he was being buried by the prosecution. The fact that Kai was a global meme made everything harder. Finding 12 people in jury who hadn't seen the Smash video and didn't have an opinion on this lovable nomad was like trying to find a vegan at Ribfest.
I know, I could never be in a jury.
I watch too much crime and I'm too angry at men.
Yeah.
Now, the New Jersey legal's machinery isn't exactly built for speed to begin with. Between being backlogged from cases and delays constantly from both sides and Kai's refusal to take a plea deal, the years piled up. Kai reportedly struggled with the reality of being trade-locked in a New Jersey jail cell. The most significant self-harm incident occurred early on. Just months after his 2013 arrest on July 17th of that year, he was rushed from the jail cell to the local hospital. The authorities described him as having self-harm inflicted wounds, though they declined to give graphic details, citing privacy issues.
Yeah.
I can respect that.
Totally.
The injuries were deemed
he's a nomad. Now he's stuck in a fucking cell.
Right?
He's got ODD. That's got to do something.
That is torture.
That is torture. He's being like tortured.
The injuries were deemed non-life-threatening, but they were serious enough to require...
I don't mean to laugh at that. Don't clip that.
But it kind of seems like this is also a show.
Yeah.
I'm not meaning to sound insensitive,
yes.
But knowing his past behaviors and what he did after does seem like this is... Never mind. I'm putting my foot in my mouth. They were serious enough, though, that he was required to be moved to a secondary healthcare facility under 24-hour guard. This happened right as the reality of the $3 billion bail. Oh, he did get bail.
He did.
$3 billion. $3 million bail.
Nobody posted that.
And a first-degree murder charge was likely setting in. Kai's supporters even often pointed to the 5+ years that he spent in solitary confinement, 23-hour lockdown a day, as a catalyst for his mental health struggles while he awaited trial. His defense and family argued that being isolated for years while the trial was repeatedly delayed would break anyone. I kind of understand.
Yes.
Let alone someone with a history of behavioral issues. The isolation likely contributed to his increasingly erratic behavior in court. His pro se legal filings and his multiple outbursts during the trial itself. So a pro se legal filing is a document submitted to a court by an individual representing themselves rather than through an attorney. While not always resulting in wounds, Kai reportedly engaged in multiple hunger strikes. Dude.
Okay.
I feel like that would be easy for him.
You killed a man, dude.
Right? And periods of refusing to cooperate with jail staff. And they take all of that into consideration when they're doing sentencing.
They do.
He viewed himself as a political prisoner and a sovereign victim of a corrupt state, often using his own body as the only site of protest that he had left. Kai didn't just attend his trial, he attempted to hijack it, treating the process like a conference, turning Judge Robert Kirsch into his personal sparring partner. By the time the trial started, Kai had spent 6 years in a system and had zero interest in following the rules. Kai insisted on being his own co-counsel. He would constantly lean would constantly leap up to object to the prosecution's witness,
Oh my God.
arguing about maritime law, sovereign rights,
Maritime law. You're in New Jersey.
the jurisdiction of New Jersey.
God.
Judge Kirsch spent about 40% of the trial telling Kai to sit down and shut up. Every time the prosecution mentioned Joseph Galfy's professional reputation, Kai would lose it. He repeatedly shouted over witnesses calling Galfy a rapist or a predator in front of the jury. Kirsch warned him that these outbursts were actively hurting his case because they made him look like an unstable person with a hair-trigger temper, and Kai's response was just more yelling. When the judge blocked his defense team from bringing up a certain psychiatric expert to talk about his nomadic trauma, Kai also didn't take this well. He launched into a manic rant about how the system was raping his rights just as Galfy had supposedly raped his body. He claimed the court was a fixed game and that the jury was being brainwashed by the prosecution's theatrics. He's putting on theatrics.
Yeah.
The final and most famous outburst happened during his sentencing when the Kirsch held nothing back, calling Kai cunning, deceitful, and manipulative. As the judge was laying out the 57-year sentence, Kai interrupted to remind everyone that he was a child of the universe and that the judge was a small-minded servant of the corrupt machine.
I mean, all right. Okay.
So Kirsch looked at him and said, "You are a powder keg of explosive rage." And Kai basically responded with a verbal middle finger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Throughout the trial, Kai tried to use his viral charm on the jury, smiling and nodding at them. Come on, Kai.
You're not that.
And then he would snap and start screaming at the prosecutor. The jury, however, didn't see the lovable hero from the 2013 video. They saw a 33-year-old man who couldn't go 5 minutes without a confrontation. Kai spent 6 years in jail before his trial even started because he was so busy trying to smash the legal system from the inside. He turned his own defense into a 6-year performance art piece, and in the end, all it got him was a front row seat to his own 57-year conviction. Galfy's family countered Kai's warrior narrative with a...
Warrior narrative?
Yeah, his warrior narrative, sorry. What did I say?
Warrior native.
That's not what I meant to say at all. Good catch. With a dignified, somber presence. They focused on the loss of the man that they described as a generous pillar of the community. Joseph's niece, Janice, denounced the media for turning a brutal murderer into a folk hero. She rejected the predator's defense, describing her uncle as a kind man who misplaced his trust, and which led to his death. The family expressed profound relief at the 57-year sentence, viewing the jury's quick 5-hour deliberation as total vindication. To them, the smash meme wasn't a joke. It was the sound of a 73-year-old's head being smashed in and beaten to death. The family largely avoided the 2023 Netflix documentary, refusing to contribute to any further content centered on their uncle's killer.
Yeah.
I get that.
Straight up.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
While Kai screamed about cosmic energy, the Galfys simply wanted the man who pulverized their relative to trade his surfboard for a life-term cell. For them, the closing of the prison door was the only thing that mattered.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what happened to Jet? Let's talk about what happened to Jet from Fresno.
Oh, yeah. Jesus?
Yeah. Jesus.
Jesus.
If you thought... No, Jet's the one... Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Jet's Jesus.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah.
What's up, Jesus?
Yeah. If you thought Kai's story was the only chaotic part of that Fresno afternoon, wait until you hear about the guy behind the wheel. Jet Simmons McBride didn't just fade into the background. His story is a bizarre, dark footnote to the whole smash saga. While Kai was busy becoming an internet sweetheart, McBride was entering the legal system for a mental health crisis that looked more like a horror movie script. The medical part of this story is where things go from viral memes to actual carnage. This wasn't just a bump on the head. The injuries that The injuries in that Fresno intersection were life-altering for everyone involved. Ray Sean was the true victim of this mess, and his injuries were catastrophic. He was plowed into his utility truck by McBride. He was literally pinned between the front bumper of Jet's car and the back of his utility truck. He suffered severe leg and pelvic injuries. He spent months in the hospital and had to undergo multiple surgeries. While Kai was off being a celebrity on Jimmy Kimmel, Ray Sean was learning how to walk again. The local electrical workers union actually offered Kai a thank you surf trip for saving Ray Sean from further harm. But for Ray Sean, the physical and psychological trauma lasted years.
Yeah, pay for his fucking therapist bill.
Yeah, pay for any... That's the states. Pay for any of his fucking medical bills.
Really.
McBride is the one who caught the smashing. Kai hit him in the back of the head with a small hatchet at least 3 times.
Some stories say twice with the blunt end and once with the sharp end. Others state it was just 3 times with the blunt end.
The result, he sustained blunt force trauma to his skull. However, because Kai used the back of the hatchet, according to his own zany retelling, it didn't split his skull open, but it was enough to stop a 300-pound man in his tracks and cause significant contusion issues.
Christine says, I honestly can't understand how hitting someone with a hatchet 3 times, even the blunt end, wouldn't cause a huge bloody mess in his brain and head.
As mentioned, his primary injury was a total psychological collapse. He was found to be in a state of acute psychosis during the entire event. Tanya Baker was the woman Kai claimed he was protecting. She was being bear-hugged by McBride after he got out of the car. Kai claimed he was afraid McBride was going to snap her neck like a pencil stick. She escaped without major physical trauma, mostly thanks to the intervention, but was obviously severely shaken by being grabbed by a man 3 times her size who thought he was Jesus. It's the ultimate irony of the viral hero era. The guy who actually got hurt, Ray Sean, became a footnote, while the guy who did the smashing became a plaything for 3 months. McBride was facing a mountain of trouble after the crash. He wasn't just charged with a simple traffic violation. He was looking at attempted murder in court. In court, it became clear that McBride was in the middle of a severe psychotic break. He reportedly believed he was the second coming of Christ and was on a mission. Before the crash, Jet had actually been reported missing by his wife in Washington State about 2 weeks prior. He had essentially been wandering the coast in a manic or psychotic state before picking up Kai. In 2014, a judge ruled that McBride met the criteria for not guilty by reason of insanity. He wasn't sent to a prison. He was committed to Americans, you're going to have to help me out with this. Atascadero State Hospital, which is basically the high-security psychiatric facility for California's most dangerous mentally ill offenders. Unlike a prison sentence, an NGRI commitment isn't for a fixed number of years. You stay until the doctors and the court agree that you are no longer a danger to yourself or others. As of the last few years, McBride has been released into a supervised community program. Because he was found insane rather than guilty, once his psychosis was managed with medication and therapy, the state eventually transitioned him back toward society. He has remained entirely out of the spotlight. No interviews, no Netflix documentaries, no merchandise, just a quiet life under medical supervision.
I think that's what's best for him, honestly.
Yeah. The most fascinating part of this case is the dual narrative. Narrative A, or the public. A 300-pound monster tried to kill people and was stopped by a heroic hippie. Narrative B, the court. A mentally ill man had a breakdown, and a transient with a hatchet, who may or may not have been influencing the situation with substances, escalated a tragedy into a viral event. It's a perfect example of how the legal system sees black and white, while the internet sees likes and shares. There is a massive irony here that I'm sure you've also noticed. The hero, Kai, currently serving 57 years in a maximum security prison, and sorry, you can just hear the clicking on the...
Can you?
Yeah.
Sorry.
And the villain, McBride, the villain, or Jet, found to be legally insane, treated, and eventually released. It really puts the whole vigilante justice thing into perspective. The media painted Jet as a monster and Kai as a savior, but the legal system eventually decided one was a sick man who needed a doctor, and the other was a violent man who needed a cell. Your turn.
I couldn't remember what number we were on. So, if the trial was the car crash, then the appeal process has been Kai trying to sue the guardrail for being in his way. Since 2019, he has been treating the New Jersey Appellate Division as a captive audience for his latest sovereign citizen fan fiction.
He's just like...
He's still going at it.
I'm going to be here.
So his main argument to the higher court was basically a 50-page version of a "It's Not Fair." He claimed, like he's such a child.
He is.
He claimed that the trial judge, Robert Kirsch, was a biased tyrant who intentionally sabotaged his defense. He argued the court shouldn't have blocked his expert witnesses who wanted to talk about his traumatic past. In August of 2021, the Court Appeals looked at his homework and gave it a big red F. They ruled that the evidence against him was overwhelming and that Judge Kirsch hadn't done anything wrong by telling a screaming defendant to sit down. After the Judge Hates Me tour was over, Kai pivoted to a classic inmate fallback: "My lawyers are idiots." He alleged that his public defenders were basically sleeper agents for the states who failed to investigate the Great Dishwasher Conspiracy of 2013.
Yes.
Or push harder for the drugged beer theory. It's hard for a lawyer to be effective when their client is busy calling the judge a lizard person in open court. The courts generally find that if you sabotage your own trial with outbursts, you can't blame your lawyers for a guilty verdict. And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Kai eventually tried to take his warrior for the Light Roadshow all the way to the New Jersey Supreme Court. He wanted them to review the entire case, claiming that the systemic corruption and the violation of his maritime rights, or whatever sovereign buzzword he was using of that week. In early 2023, the Supreme Court of New Jersey declined to ever even hear his case. As of today, he is still exhausting every post-conviction relief petition that he can get his hands on. From his cell in New Jersey State Prison, he spends his days writing manifestos, because of course, filing proceeds motions, and mostly end up in a judicial recycling bin. His chances of appeal working are roughly the same as him ever getting the key to the city of Clark, New Jersey. Kai wanted to live outside of the system, and now the system is the only thing he's able to talk to. He spends more time appealing his 57-year sentence than he does being a famous hero. Kai and his lawyers continuously argued that Judge Kirsch was a tyrant who unfairly blocked evidence about Kai's supposed history of being abused. The judge ruled that even if some of that testimony should be allowed, it wouldn't change the outcome. The translation was basic. This is from Christine. The translation is basically, look, Caleb, we could have let a priest, a psychic, and your childhood teddy bear testify, but if you beat a 73-year-old man to a pulp while he's in his underwear, but you still beat a 73-year-old man to a pulp in his underwear.
Yeah.
No amount of trauma makes a shattered skull look like self-defense. I get their point.
Yeah.
You know? The court pointed to the three pillars of the prosecution's case that no nomadic philosophy could overcome. Kai didn't have a single scratch. The court noted that it's hard to claim a life or death struggle when you look like you just finished a yoga retreat while your supposed attacker looks like he was hit by a semi-truck. The appeals judge specifically cited that the surveillance footage ruled that Kai's "I was a terrified victim" story was completely undermined by the video of him voluntarily returning to the house and giving Galfy a warm embrace. Kai argued that his own outbursts in court should have triggered a mistrial. Or proved that he wasn't competent. So that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was a performance.
Yeah.
The judge basically ruled that Kai was strategically disruptive, not legally insane. I agree with that.
Yeah.
This was the final nail in the coffin. The court upheld the system's stance that even if the assault had occurred, Kai's response was excessive and brutal. The law allows you to stop a threat, not turn a threat into an unrecognizable human being. The 57-year sentence was upheld because of the sheer violence of the act, suggesting murderous intent, not a desperate escape. For his later appeals, the New Jersey Supreme Court in 2023, they didn't even give him a full explanation. They just cited certification denied order. They reviewed the low court's 34-page beatdown of his appeal and decided that there was nothing left to discuss. I think that's fair as well.
Yeah.
The court denied his appeal because the system values forensic over fame.
Okay.
They didn't care that he had saved a girl in Fresno or that he had caught an auto-tune remix. They cared that he stayed for a second night, hugged the victim at the train station, and then performed a manual demolition on a senior citizen.
Yeah. Well, the 2023 Netflix documentary serves as a high-budget forensic examination of a dead meme. It's a 90-minute post-mortem on how the media industrial complex and the internet hijacked a fractured nomad, milked him for every possible golden goose click, and then feigned absolute horror when their viral pet finally snapped. The doc doesn't just focus on the New Jersey murder, it tracks the entire 90-day trajectory of Kai's fame. It reveals extensive, never-before-seen raw footage from that first KMPH interview. You see the reporters realizing they've struck viral gold and the immediate predatory scramble to own Kai's story. It shows the behind-the-scenes chaos of his Jimmy Kimmel appearance and the reality TV producers who were trying to figure out how to put a guy with a hatchet into a controlled environment for ratings. The film's real villain isn't necessarily Kai. It's the media industry. The documentary heavily implies that everyone from the Fresno newsroom to the late-night execs knew Kai was mentally unstable and potentially dangerous. They didn't care about his cosmic energy or his safety. They cared that he was a click machine. They fed him beer, put him in hotels, and treated him like a pet until he became inconvenient. Example, committed a homicide. The second half of the documentary pivots to the Joseph Galfy murder. It includes some of the surveillance video from the train station, including the hug and snippets of Kai's manic, shirtless interrogation with detectives Henderson and Walsh. It presents the conflicting stories, Kai's claim of self-defense versus the prosecution's overkill evidence without explicitly taking a side, though the 3 skull fractures tend to do the most talking. It does a deep dive into the Fresno incident that made Kai a star and certainly adds some layers of wait, what? to the story you won't find in the original viral clip. While the hero narrative we all bought into in 2013 was that Kai was just a bystander protecting a woman from a crazy person, the documentary introduces a much darker theory about what was happening inside that car before the crash. In the documentary, some of the people involved, and even law enforcement looking back, suggest that driver Jet might not have just snapped on his own. Yeah. There is a theory explored that Kai may have actually drugged McBride, that the joint they shared was laced with psychedelics before the crash occurred.
See, that's what I've been saying. His weed was laced.
Yeah. The idea is that Kai, who lived a transient lifestyle and was known to experiment with substances, might have given something to Jet which triggered the man's psychotic break, claiming to be Jesus.
But he was also missing for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so he was already in a...
Yeah, he was already in an unwell state, and that just tipped him over the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that led him to plow his car into the utility worker. The darker implication is that Kai effectively created the monster he then got to slay on camera, essentially manufacturing a situation where he could step in as the savior. The documentary basically argues that we didn't witness a hero's origin story, we witnessed a predator's audition. It frames Kai not as a lucky hitchhiker who happened to have a hatchet, but as a powder keg who was potentially manipulating his environment to find an outlet for his rage. The most glaring part of the documentary is that Kai isn't in it, at least not in the present day. Since he's currently serving 57 years in New Jersey State Prison, he only appears in archival footage and audio clips. Kai himself reportedly hated the documentary. From his cell, he's filed motions and ranted on social media, claiming that Netflix is exploiting his trauma and making money off his life without giving him a cent for his defense fund. Okay, Kai. In 2023, he filed a pro se lawsuit against Netflix and various YouTubers, specifically the behavior panel who analyzed his body language. He sued for defamation, misappropriation of likeness, and even trademark infringement, claiming he owns the rights to Kai the Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker and the phrase smash, smash, smash.
So Paris Hilton actually did go and get copyrights for That's Hot. Yeah. So unless you've done that, Kai, which I highly doubt you have.
Yeah. A federal judge tossed the suit in late 2025. The court ruled that since he was a public figure and the footage was a matter of public record, the creators weren't liable for discussing him. The documentary itself is a meta-example of the very thing it criticizes. It's a true crime sensation that turned Kai's tragedy back into content for a global audience. It briefly brought Kai back into the zeitgeist, leading to a new wave of free Kai TikToks and conspiracy theories, proving that once you're an internet character, you're never allowed to just be a prisoner.
The problem with social media creating celebrities at breakneck speed is that it's essentially the digital equivalent of a lottery win for your ego. And just like the lottery, most people aren't equipped for the fallout or even how to handle it, really.
Yeah.
In true crime world, we call this the hero to villain. And here's why rapid fire fame is a recipe for disaster. There's the milkshake duck. This is the internet's favorite pastime. A milkshake duck is someone who goes viral for doing something adorable or heroic, like a duck drinking a milkshake, only for the internet to spend the next 48 hours digging through their 2011 tweets finding something problematic. Social media creates celebrities based on a 15-second fragment of their personality. When the other 23 hours and 43 minutes of their life catching up...
23 hours and 59 minutes.
What did I say?
43 minutes.
Where did I even get that number?
I don't know. You're making up numbers today.
I am making up numbers. So they spend the rest of their time making up with their life catching up to that fame. The fans feel betrayed and pivot to a digital lynch mob. Because influencers and viral stars talk directly into their phones in their pajamas, followers feel like they're actually friends. This is dangerous because it creates a terrifying sense of entitlement, which we see actually quite often. Mm-hmm. Fans feel like they own the creator's time, personal life, and even their moral compass. If creators deviate from the fans' mental script, the backlash isn't just, I'll stop watching. It becomes a deeply personal, vitriolical harassment.
Vitriolic.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Traditional celebrities have publicists, lawyers, and agents who act as a buffer between them and the public. The viral reality is a TikTok star goes from 0 to 5 million followers while sitting in their childhood bedroom. They're reading every single death threat and I love you, and they take it personally. There's no filter, no security, no professional training how to handle mass-scale psychological warfare. Once the algorithm tastes blood or views, it demands more. Creators become slaves to the beast. Studies show that content creators have nearly double rates of suicide ideations compared to the general public. The pressure to stay relevant means that you can never turn off. If you take a weekend off to just, exist as a human being, the algorithm buries you. When millions of people validate your every thought, it's easy to lose your grip on reality. Look at Kai. He went from a drifter to a national talk show guest in days. The kind of God complex this can lead people to believe that they are above the law and that their brand justifies their worst impulses. Again, Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
The higher the pedestal, the messier the splat when they fall.
Justin Timberlake, yeah.
Right.
Do you want this one's? Let's switch for sections.
Okay.
If you want to see a real life depiction of a pack of hyenas in suits, look no further than the 2013 media coverage of Kai. It wasn't journalism; it was a high speed race to see who could exploit a mentally unstable drifter the fastest. Here's a recap of that absolute shit show. It started with Jess Riesback Jessa Brasback, the local Fresno reporter who struck digital gold. He didn't see a homeless kid in the middle of a traumatic event. He saw a meme with legs. He let Kai ramble on camera, knowing damn well the smash, smash, smash bit was going to be the internet's hit of crack for the week. Let's not use drugs as that anymore. You know?
Yeah, I dig it.
It's just gonna get the internet going for a week. Once the clip went viral, the Prestige media came sniffing around like sharks. Jimmy Kimmel's producers flew him out, put him in a hotel, and sat him on a couch for the world to laugh at, not with. They treated him like a performing seal, ignoring the fact that he was essentially a home-free powder keg who probably hadn't had a solid meal or psych evaluation in years. And producers were literally tripping over their own ego-driven dicks to sign him to a reality show. They wanted the adventures of the Hatchet Boy, completely ignoring the reality that this kid carried a weapon in his backpack and thought he was a literal warrior. The media spent 3 months calling him a hero because it made for a better headline than unstable drifter escalates mental health crisis with a hatchet. They fed his ego, gave him a platform, and basically told him, hey, the rules don't apply to you because you're a legend. Then the second he did something that wasn't quirky, like murdering someone, those same media outlets did a 180 so fast they probably got whiplash. These predators in the newsrooms didn't care about Kai's untreated trauma or the fact that he was clearly spiraling. They cared about clicks, shares, and Christine says selling ad space for dick pills. They took a guy who belonged in a high-intensity therapy ward and put him on a pedestal. When he inevitably fell off and crushed someone's skull, the media just shrugged, wiped the blood off their hands, and started looking for the next Chewbacca mom or backpack kid. It's the circle of life. We build them up so we can watch them splat when they hit the pavement. Kai was just the most violent version of the milkshake duck we've seen so far. If a guy in a suit offers you a TV contract while you're still holding a bloody garden tool, maybe just run the other way.
The reality for hundreds of thousands of people currently living on the streets in 2026 is a lot more depressing and a lot less likely to end up on a late-night talk show. The relationship between mental health and homelessness is a chicken or the egg nightmare where both sides are constantly trying to kill you. But here is the breakdown. For many, a mental health crisis is an eviction notice that they never saw coming. As of 2026, roughly 21 to 25% of the homeless population in North America lives with severe mental illnesses like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. Serious mental illnesses don't just make you sad. It nukes your ability to hold a job, navigate bureaucracy for benefits, or maintain the any social connections like friends or family that usually act as a safety net. In places like Ontario, people are often discharged to nowhere from hospitals or jails without a follow-up plan, essentially dumping vulnerable people directly into the sidewalk. Even if you start with a clean bill of health, living on the street is a psychological meat grinder. Imagine never being safe. Every time you sleep, you risk being robbed, assaulted, or moved by police. Which, that one I really hate. Just fucking let them be.
Yeah.
This puts the brain in a permanent state of hyperarousal, PTSD. Mm-hmm. When the world is loud, cold, and terrifying, substance use isn't just a bad choice, it's an escape. This leads to the concurrent disorders, mental issues, and addiction, which are twice as hard to treat. We are seeing a massive rise in unsheltered homelessness, people in tents rather than shelters, where mental health issues are more concentrated. There is a huge debate right now between housing first, giving them a home, and then treating them, or treatment first. You can't stay in a house if you don't get sober or medicated. Neither side is winning, and the bodies are piling up.
Yeah, that's true. The hero to villain narrative is the internet's favorite toxic cycle. It's a specialized form of the milkshake duck phenomenon, but with higher stakes and usually a body count. In the true crime world, this isn't just a trope, it's a failure of the collective gut check. We are so desperate for a win that we'll crown a king before checking if he's carrying a severed head in his gym bag. The narrative follows a predictable, almost scripted path that usually ignores every red flag in favor of a good story. Phase 1, the right place, right time myth. Here, a chaotic event happens, a bystander intervenes, the media needs a human interest angle to sell their dick pills, so they pluck an individual out of the carnage. We project our own values onto them. Because Kai stopped a bad guy, we assumed he was a good guy. Sometimes a bad guy just happened to hit another bad guy with a hatchet. Phase 2, the pedestal. This is where the media vultures come in. They give the hero a platform, money, and a sense of invincibility. For someone with untreated mental illness or a history of trauma, this is like throwing gasoline on a grease fire. It validates their worst impulses and convinces them that they're the main character of reality. Yeah, everything's happening to them.
Yeah.
In phase 3, the splat, the hero does something that doesn't fit the script. In Kai's case, it was a brutal murder. In other cases, it's a leaked racist tweet or a scam. Now for the pivot. The people who built the pedestal are the first ones to kick it over. The hero is now a monster, and the audience gets a second hit of dopamine from the righteous indignation of tearing them down. This narrative isn't just a bummer for the person involved, it has real-world collateral damage. When we focus on the hero, the actual victims, like Rayshawn Neely, the guy pinned between the trucks, become background noise. The narrative prioritizes the performer over the suffering. By celebrating extrajudicial violence like smash, 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 the media sends a message that the law is optional if you're charismatic enough. It encourages main character syndrome in people who aren't stable enough to own a goldfish, let alone a weapon. While a hero is revealed to have a mental health issues, the public doesn't say, we should have gotten him help. They say, see, they're all dangerous. It reinforces the madman trope and makes it harder for millions of non-violent people struggling with homelessness or mental illness to get actual support. We become cynical. After enough Kai-style disasters, the public stops believing in any act of genuine altruism. We start looking for the catch before the thank you, which erodes the social fabric that actually keeps us safe.
Meme culture operates on reductionism. You take a guy who is clearly mid-crisis, strip away his trauma, his history in Edmonton, and his psychiatric files, and you boil him down to a trademark phrase. He wasn't a person on the internet, he was just a vibe. When you turn a human into a punchline, you strip them of their agency. You stop asking, is this person okay? And start asking, can I put this audio over a video of my cat hitting a toy? In 2013, and even more so in 2016 and 2026, the algorithm is the ultimate kingmaker. If a meme gets a high engagement, the reputation becomes self-sustaining. The more people share the hero version of Kai, the more the media felt forced to treat him like one. The internet doesn't reward nuance, it rewards extremes. To stay a meme, Kai had to stay zany and crazy. The meme culture literally incentivized him to lean into his most erratic behaviors because this is what kept the likes coming. Memes created a weird kind of reputational armor. Because Kai was funny and cool, people ignored the actual violence of the Fresno incident. And we laughed at the way that he described hitting a man with a hatchet. This creates a world where likability or memeability is a substitute for morality. If you're a good meme, the internet will forgive almost anything until you do something so dark it breaks the joke. The most brutal part of meme culture, it never dies. Even after Kai was convicted of murder, the smash memes didn't just disappear. They became a bit more edgy. For families like the Galfy family, seeing the man who killed their loved one still being used as a funny reaction image is a special kind of digital hell. A meme that outlives the hero, the villain, and sometimes even the truth. We live in a world where your entire legacy can be decided by a 19-year-old in a basement with cut cap and a dream. Kai was patient zero for what happens. Cap cut. What did I say?
Cut cap.
I'm all over the place, flipping my numbers around. I'm word dyslexic today. Kai was the patient zero for what happens when we prioritize entertainment over evidence.
That's right. And we've been here long enough. I'm not doing a creep of the week this week.
I figured that was coming.
Yeah.
This was a long one. We needed to finish.
Well, we needed to get it done. So you can send us your creep of the week nominations, speakpipe.com/Canadian Creepies. If we need to debrief on this, we'll do it next week. That's a lot of information. I actually feel like we just talked about it enough.
I dig it.
Yeah.
It's been done.
It's been dug. And then you can email us CanadianCreepiesPodcast@gmail.com or email Christine, CanadianCreepiesResearch@gmail.com. Radio Valerie on all the things. Canadian Creepies on Instagram. It's where you can find us.
And you can find me at Down the Crooked Path on Instagram, TikTok,
Tuesdays,
YouTube,
Thursdays.
Tuesdays here on Canadian Creepies. Thursdays over on the Down the Crooked Path podcast. Yeah, we're all over.
It's been fun.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
That was Kai. That was Kai, the hatchet wielding.
Smash
Smash that one.
Smash!